Daniel Wood was sentenced to 9 months in jail for possessing thousands of different pictures of underage girls. That was his crime, or I guess I should say his crimes. And he, of course, is already out of jail. And yeah, it's just surprising that he didn't come back here. Or if he did come back here, he didn't take any of the belongings out with him. But again, it goes to show how much effort and time it took for him to not only build this place, but to bring all the supplies in that he needed to live out here. So again, don't condone the crime, but beautiful architecture, amazing cabin that he built. And again, if you missed my first video, he obviously built this in the national forest here, and it's illegal for him to build it here. So that, he was not allowed to build his cabin here, period. But he did it anyway. Back for round 2, I got maybe like 100 comments or more that stated, hey, you should go back for round 2 to the Gingerbread cabin, see if it's still there, and film what you missed. And so it's about 1.5 years later, and we're going back. I'm here, of course, with Gus from Fish and Fly with Gus. And again, we don't know for sure if it's still there or not. So we're gonna check it out.
We shall see.
Yeah, the main thing is, again, it's a little blurry in my mind, like exactly where it is. So I have the coordinates, but the cell service is crap. So
let's hope the cabin exists.
Yeah, let's do it. So
adventure on.
Let's do it. There was only maybe about 3 or 4 articles total just talking about his cabin and of course his crimes, and not one of those articles actually had a picture of him. Only one article had a short video of him in court, and it was like a behind the back kind of shot, maybe a little side profile shot. So I only was able to really see like a side profile video clip of like 10 seconds of him.
Wow.
So, and there's nothing really related to his background and what he used to do.
I'd be curious who his employer was or is.
Yeah. So that kind of makes him more mysterious though, because we don't know much about him, and
shrouded in mystery.
And what he used to do before all this happened,
Wow, interesting.
Again, for each video I put in like 8 to 10 hours of work. So between the driving there, the filming it, and the editing part, I put 8 to 10 hours in each video. So
he's not a slacker.
So yeah, I put in the work. I'm not perfect, but for the most part I try to do a good job. So those of you who watch my stuff and appreciate it, I really appreciate you. On my first Gingerbread cabin video, I got a significant amount of dislikes and a lot of hate, and I guess maybe people misunderstood me or something, but Daniel had thousands of pictures of naked underage girls in his cabin. And when I went there weren't any of those pictures left. There was only some paintings left behind. And so maybe people were assuming that there would have been those naked pictures left behind as well. Maybe that's what they got out of my thumbnail or title. But yeah, the only things left were there's just the paintings of all the nymphs or elves or whatever. The police took all the illegal underage pictures out of the cabin way before I got there. So hopefully that kind of makes sense to you now, in case you were confused or upset or thought I said something differently.
How would he bring all this down here?
See, that's what blows my mind, because again, he was a 60-year-old man or 58-year-old man, and there's a lot of middle-aged men that are fit and stuff, but this is not an easy trek to get down here whatsoever, especially bringing all those tools and materials. Yep, it's coming back to me.
Oh, wow. Harmon the acrobat here.
Anyway, man, this is exactly what I remember, and I remember that creek coming down. So once we get down a little farther, we'll turn left, and we'll start heading that way, and the cabin should be a quarter mile.
It's not that far now.
Not that far, so we're getting there.
Man, what's cool is it's right over the ledge, and being up there, you would never know that there was just a sheer drop off in a cabin, essentially right. I wonder if he did use some kind of a rope levee, like a pulley system, to bring things from up there to down below. That would make sense, Eric, because it's steep enough.
It's a steep, and you could easily see someone tying like a rope to one of these trees and having like, yeah, like you said, a pulley system. That would make a lot more sense on how he got all that stuff down here to build the cabin.
Yeah, it's almost a vertical wall,
like a sheer rock cliff, right? Yeah.
So with ropes and pulleys and some good knots,
you could build something.
We're trying to conjure how he got the materials down here.
So so Gus here is 6'4", 6'3",
6'0".
6'0". So yeah, Gus is about 6
foot, 170 pounds.
So yeah, 6 foot Gus in front of this incredibly massive
Western red cedar
tree. Oh, it's covered by.
Oh my gosh!
It's covered by a tarp
or something.
Or did it fall?
Oh my god, the thing fell.
It fell.
No, it is just a weight. Wow, it
Look,
fell.
It looks like it's at an angle.
It's at a 45, Eric.
Oh. It fell off its foundation to the left. Oh, but yeah, some of the belongings are right out here in front. Man, it's one of those like things where it's a little disheartening, to be honest. But I mean, I'm glad it's still here. But it's
weathered a lot in a year and a half. This is something else, man.
I mean, here's some of his belongings right here.
The lighting isn't great because it's blocked by the cabin.
Oh look, what is it? Look, this book, this was on his shelf. This was on the shelf inside the cabin.
You recognize that from before.
So again, if you guys haven't seen my first video, go check it out. This place is intact then, but it's definitely like Peter Pan-esque, you know, or like you said, Harry Potter or Peter Pan.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, all kind of combined.
Feels very elvish.
And this is just, you know, one book out of dozens that he had.
Those of the character quality.
He had dozens of books in the cabin that I checked out last time I was here, and one of these books again is all about like these fairies or spells. This book in particular is all about conjuring fairies and using like these potions and stuff. So
Fascinating.
this was one of the entrances, you guys. This was one of the doors that you would obviously go to get in. It's unbelievable. This thing shifted and fell off its foundation, totally smashed.
Check out that gargoyle up there.
Use these giant spikes Giant
Well, those spikes are more symbolic than they are structural, I think.
These were the original kind of stairs that Daniel built to get up to the cabin, since it was you know, off the ground by about 10 feet or so. But when I came here last time, when this cabin was intact, it seemingly didn't seem like there was a way to get up, since the level of the cabin, like the deck or whatever, was blocking the way. But now that this cabin has fallen apart, there was a trap door, Gus.
Oh, I found that picture, buddy, that's on your thumbnail. So to speak, because it's fallen over. I feel like by no means safe. That pentagram or whatever that thing is called is still there.
Ooh.
Neither of us wants to come out of here with a broken arm.
Nope.
Or you know, cuts to the bone from glass or anything along those lines.
Definitely not.
You can see from this tree, guys, that this is the straight vertical angle. So anything angled again away from this tree is at about a 45. It's extremely precarious here.
Again.
Here, I'll give you a hand. I think this is relatively
Relatively
yeah,
stable.
relatively. But with two people, it's going to be a little more.
Right.
Wait, the last thing we want to do is to
Bust through.
bust through and then have the thing fall on us or something.
Oh, that would suck. Spikes were so slippery.
This angle here with you up there shows
Like how the
that this thing is basically, it's almost, you know, it's at a 45. It really is basically at a diagonal.
All right, so again, I'm at a really severe angle right now. Joel's kind of, he's poking through the window there. But yeah, it may look like flat ground, you guys, but this is definitely not flat. I'll be basically on a mini slide if I don't use this as a brace. But guys, those of you who pointed out my last video to check under the bed, you were right. There is stuff underneath this bed here. I never noticed before, but his bed, it looks like a sled.
Wow.
And there's like, he painted it like with some trees and mountains and a moon.
That's so interesting.
All right, guys, I'm gonna attempt to get in here and show you some other stuff. So as you can tell, I finally made it in. I had to basically slide down on my backside here in order to get down here. But this was the bed right here, and most if not all the paintings are still left.
ready for this?
Looks like Gus made a pretty vital discovery. This was outside the cabin. There's a bag here of tons of different ammunition that Daniel Wood obviously had here. I did not notice this was the first time. There's all different kinds of shells in here. Very,
This is what it came in.
oh, it was in this pot.
It's a brass or copper tea kettle. You can see how it's patina. The green is
Oh, you're right.
patina, and it's full. It's solid brass or copper, and all those rounds were inside of that.
That's so interesting. That was kind of an interesting find, guys, finding all this ammunition here. So if he had ammunition, that most likely means he had a gun or many guns. I'm hoping that when he was initially arrested for the possession of the thousands of pictures of the underage girls, that the police came in and took, if he had any weapons, that they would take all the weapons. They obviously didn't see the kettle pot full of ammunition. So if you guys remember, if you saw my first video, you might remember that on this little bookshelf used to house all of his books. There's all the books, and of course, you know, there's some, basically some pipes and bongs as he smokes some weed, I'm guessing. So all that was here. Now, of course, when the cabin fell or shifted down and fell, all that stuff kind of got knocked out and, you know, all fell away. We kind of put some of the pictures here on the shelf. That way it's easier to film. Again, there's just so many different paintings on the walls and the ceiling of this cabin. You know, all of them, you know, pertaining to, you know, nymphs, elves, fairies, kind of all a little bit of mixture of all those. And it's nothing super out there, but again, when you combine the totality of everything, including, you know, what he did, what Daniel Wood did, and combine that with, you know, many of these paintings look very like younger girl age. That all that combined kind of just, you know, makes it a little bit eerie. All right, guys, you were curious on what's under the bed on the first video.
Without further ado.
Yeah, so underneath the bed, we've got several of like the oil canteens that he would use on his like buddy heater. And then we got some, looks like some picture or painting frames. And there might be some actual other pictures here. Oop. Oh, dude, you okay?
Yeah. Oh shit.
Did you fall through?
Oh, that was a nasty one.
Are you okay? Did you break something?
Yeah, I'm good. I didn't break anything, thankfully. Could have been a lot worse.
Jeez, bro. Yeah, guys, so mainly under the bed is, all I see is some of those oil canteens or whatever, or gas canteens for the buddy heater. There's some of the picture or painting frames. And it looks like some of the artwork that was, you know, the double. He already has this up on the wall or whatever. Yeah, so wanted to show you kind of this up close. So Daniel obviously built everything about this cabin, but he built these little like wooden holders to hold the paintings in place, and then he of course drilled them into the frame of the building. So he obviously kind of knew what he was trying to do here. This is one of those just interesting videos, you know, where it's an abandoned place, and it's of course where, you know, a pretty infamous crime or crimes happened. So of course Daniel Wood spent 9 months in jail for the thousands of pictures that he had in his possession of the underage girls. He's obviously out of jail at this point. He's been out for a while. And again, it is interesting that it seems like he never came back here to get any of his stuff. Not that it seems like, anyway. And again, it's been about 2 years, or almost 2 years, since I filmed this the first time. And he wasn't there then, and he's not here now. But it's only a matter of time that this place officially collapses all the way, and this entire cabin and everything in it is going to just be gone forever. So glad that me and Gus could film it for you. And, you know, kind of capture this place.
The fate. So the fate is mice eat it and it rots in the rain. Or somebody else finds it who's just as, you know, who would have just as much interest.
I didn't know if, like, part of the investigation they needed to collect it or...
Yeah. I think if they came out here and grabbed all those pictures, they would have taken anything that they felt relevant.
True. Alright guys, the moment of truth. I'm gonna make my way down. I'll basically have to slide down like a slide. Again, this is not simple whatsoever. But we're gonna make our way down kind of by sliding. Maybe use a little bit of support. Whew.
Buddy, nicely done, Eric.
We made it.
Wow, what an adventure.
Crazy, isn't it?
It's absolutely I think we were prepared for the possibility of it being here and being damaged, and that's exactly what we found. So this is the worst that happened. We came out pretty good, all things considered. There was so much broken glass, but one of those spikes on the porch there gave way, and I just cut myself pretty good, and there's a little bit of bruising and some kind of bleeding inside. But you guys, be safe out there. Maybe I, got a little overzealous, a little ambitious, and we're trying to get around a building that's on a 45. So
it was hard to do, and I'm glad, thankfully, Gus here is not too badly injured, but for the most part. So we're gonna head out. I mean, yeah, you got a staple gun, hammer, saw blades, little
utility knife,
coffee pot, fans, and
pair of socks. Some cookware and barbecue A1 steak sauce and some shredded onion and a
little chair. I apologize if I'm breathing hard. I mean, actually I shouldn't apologize at all. It's just part of the trek. It was a hard trek to get down here. Got mosquitoes flying everywhere. Anyway guys, this was part 2 of the Gingerbread cabin with Gus here, Fish and Fly with Gus. Again, his link will be down below, check him out. But we're glad we finally found it, and even though it was kind of falling apart, I hope you guys enjoyed kind of seeing now what's left behind. And those of you who are wondering what happened to this place, at least hopefully that kind of answered your question. So anyway guys, thanks for watching. We'll both see you guys later. Take it easy.
It's working.
So yeah, we found out that this buddy heater actually still works. We got the pilot light on, and we got it to go, and it's obviously on. You can see the flame in there. So pretty remarkable. After the big, basically crash of this cabin, falling down, this buddy here, I guess they build them strong.
Isn't that amazing?
This thing still works.
It may not have been ran for a year or two or longer, and it's just fired right up. Well, right. Eric, my thoughts are we can kind of stuff this stuff back in there. We can put some of it underneath, because we kind of brought a lot of stuff out here. So